this is not hate speech. And we are 100% from start to finish, the Alpha and the Omega, here, back on YouTube, where I just came off a banishment for hate speech. Oh, and I wish I could talk to you about how I feel about it without thinking that I might commit the offense again. But hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Wednesday, October 26, 2022. The election's coming up. I've been off YouTube for the last week because they censored me for something I said in regards to Kanye West's situation, or Ye, as he goes by now. Rabbi Shekel Countsteinberg says, did I see a Handsome Truth banner that said Kanye what? I say, I don't know if I can say any of that. I can't say anything. It's kind of ridiculous because I'm not anti-Jewish or anti-Semitic, and I don't do hate speech. I wouldn't want to do hate speech. So the fact that they said I did was messed up. And so if could happen again, I don't know what's going to happen with YouTube. But make sure if you want to catch the show, I have been doing it regularly. And there's a podcast which has never been censored, which you can follow anywhere there are podcasts. You go to just search for Lift the Veil and you'll find it. Or subscribe to my Substack at lifttheveil.substack.com, which has my podcast on it, along with links. And then I even include the YouTube video with the podcast right there on Substack. So you can go to lifttheveil.substack.com, subscribe to the blog, become a paid subscriber if you want for $7 a month. If you want to just support the show like a Patreon thing, you can do that. And you'll get an email for every show and you won't miss any, even when I get a strike, which is what happened. And I'm mad about the strike I got, obviously, because like I said, well, for another thing, Kanye didn't get censored for anything he said. So Kanye didn't get censored, and he said things that are, by definition, anti-Semitic on several different platforms, and he didn't get censored. And then whatever I said, which I don't even know, I wish they'd tell me, but okay, this is what you said. It was when you said this that we decided that was hateful. But I played clips from what Kanye said, but Kanye himself has not been censored. And that's the craziest thing. That's the craziest of the craziest things. Is I think what he said was, I don't agree with, I'm not even defending Kanye West. Like, there are people who are defending him. I'm not even defending him. I'm defending his right to speak. Really defend his right to speak without being censored. But he kind of has been able to do that. But I'm not saying what he said was correct, that he used the right words, that he brought it up the right way. None of that. I said on the video that got censored, I said what he said was anti-Semitic because by definition it is. So anyway, and then I'm catching heat from people because it's just saying that. Just saying that. People are giving me a hard time, saying, oh, you agree with people getting canceled or you agree with censorship. That's what I have somebody telling me right now. Because I said it was Kanye's fault that he got canceled, at least from Adidas and Gap. Now, he hasn't been, and he hasn't, his interviews are still up. His music is still up. If they get rid of his music, then I would say that's I over the line, I would say. But that's the thing is Adidas and Gap canceling him. I don't blame them one bit. I don't blame them. If I ran a multinational shoe corporation, I'd probably have to cut ties with Kanye West too, especially when he's out there just talking shit about you. I mean, you don't have to do business with somebody who's talking shit about you. And Kanye was about Gap and Adidas. So I'm not, I don't, in a sense, I don't feel bad for him because he is kind of like I listened to every minute of all of his interviews. And I thought that he's kind of a jerk, like he is kind of a jerk. He's really, really arrogant, and he thinks he's better. And like I know that Kanye West thinks he's better than me, mostly because he's worth more money, but that he thinks he's the greatest writer ever and everything. And he has like zero humility. He's not the coolest. He's like not even that cool, even though I like his music and I appreciate somebody speaking their mind. So I appreciate him speaking his mind. But I still think him getting canceled. I mean, if I was his bro, I would have said, bro, chill, just apologize. Like, what's wrong with you? That's what I would say to him. But then again, I got censored, and that in a sense, I understand, or people say like that proves his points. But and him getting canceled, people are saying that proves a point that he's like that it proves that what he said is true. That's what people are saying. Some people are saying. But he was platformed. And the biggest platform he was on at the end was with a Jewish guy. So, I don't know. That's Kanye West. That's my situation. I have some stuff. I mean, that said, there is some interesting stuff you can get into talking about people, but just can't do it on YouTube. And even Ethan Klein got censored I mean, that to me, that's even worse than me getting censored. Is that Ethan Klein got censored for making a Holocaust joke? Like, I think Jewish people should be allowed to make fun of other Jewish people with offensive jokes. And if that's not a possibility, if even he gets censored, that's kind of messed up, I think. I don't know why everybody has to be so sensitive. So it's over the top, man. But anyway, we're trying to be on YouTube. Oh, and the title to this show, people could say, is that I'm being ableist. It's just a joke. The title and thumbnail for this stream is just a joke because I always try to come up with interesting titles and thumbnails. Some of the people in the thumbnail didn't even have a stroke, so you can tell it's a joke. Different strokes for different folks. Yeah, we're going to talk about the election and the debate, if you want to call it that. The debate that happened last night, Pennsylvania, which is really important for control of the Senate. We can give you the latest betting odds on who's going to control the government going forward. It's happening. The Republicans are definitely overthrowing the government. I'll show you what people are saying. And I'll show you Hillary Clinton's latest. Yes, it's true what they say. It's true what they say. Republicans are going to overthrow the government. Yeah, by getting elected, basically, by winning their elections, they're going to overthrow the government from the Democrats. All right, I'm going to play the intro. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. We just pray with me to whichever God you choose. That this channel be protected, if you could, because because I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm trying to follow rules. I respect guidelines. And it's important to me to be able to talk to people. Like, I'd like to be able to express myself. And it's ableist to censor me because I am neurodivergent. And it hurts me when I'm not allowed to speak my mind just because I think differently. So anyone who wants to censor anything I say or even criticize me is being ableist, and that's not cool.
Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. I bring you the news, the real news.
Yes, when I'm allowed to. When I am allowed to. And speaking of which, if you'd like to support this show, which is sometimes censored, like we're under attack, right? That's what the grifters say. Like, I'm under attack. Okay. I need your support. So if you'd like to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil because I'm the only one who's telling the truth. I'm fighting the system. You know what I mean? That's what people say. I'm just trying to fit in because I'm going up against the machine because I'm fighting the glass. Need support. Go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Also because they get 5% and they're a cool platform. And because you could tip on YouTube too, but they take 30% and they're an evil platform controlled by evil people who like to censor sometimes. YouTube does. And other platforms too. But YouTube is particularly censorious, and PayPal too. I have new update on PayPal. So you can support me at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil if you buy me coffees and get a few of them. Like if I get a few of them, sometimes I do extra content for the show, like working for tips kind of. So do that, or you can tip on Rockfin at rockfin.com/lifttheveil. And that's where the show is when I get censored. It's at rockfin.com/lifttheveil. That's the other video platform I'm on that doesn't censor. What's up, everybody in the chat? Thanks, Rabbi Shekel Count Steenberg, who says Amy Lane gifted a sub. Thank you, Amy Lane, for gifting a sub on DLive. I appreciate it. I don't always see what's going on there on DLive. Thanks, Amy Lane. So DLive, PayPal is apparently, you heard the news, right? They were going to fine people $2,500 for spreading misinformation or hate speech. And I was banned from PayPal. I believe they said it was for hate speech. I think it was for something I said about, I don't think I can even say it. Like, I think it's about something I said about somebody who also Kanye talked about too, is the reason I got banned from PayPal. And like, I was thinking about doing a video called I Love Jewish People. Like, I really do. So whatever it takes to get in the good graces, like I like Jewish people. And there are like lots of them. I follow them on Twitter. They're cool, like I got no problems. So whatever it takes to not be censored in the future, like I'll say that, okay? Not to imply that you can pull any strings or anything, but I'm just saying, like, We're cool. Okay. From now on, like we're on the same team. So anyway, here's PayPal that says they're still going to take $2,500 from people. It's in their use, $2,500 per violation for acceptable use policy. You have to follow the acceptable use policy, which I guess has been in effect for a while. It says last updated September 21st, 2021. So they already had something in there where they could fine you $2,500 for selling stuff or not doing something under their acceptable use policy. So people are spreading this information today about PayPal. And PayPal, it was bad. It is bad. It was already terrible before they mentioned the $2,500 thing. So that's just more reason not to use it. All right. Let me show you Hillary Clinton. Speaking of election deniers. So Hillary Clinton, right, being an election denier is the worst thing. You can hear there are like 200 and some election deniers. They'll give you the statistics if you listen to NBC or if you listen to Meet the Press. They'll say, oh, there are 229 election deniers running for office, and a bunch of them are going to win. Anyway, a bunch of them are going to win, including Carrie Lake in Arizona. Here's election denier Hillary Clinton preparing people and grifting at the same time, saying that there's going to be a overthrow of the government.
Hello, Indivisibles. I'm here to highlight something that is keeping me up at night. And I know this group really understands what I'm about to say. I know we're all focused on the 2022 midterm elections, and they are incredibly important. But we also have to look ahead, because you know what? Our opponents certainly are. Right-wing already have a plan to literally steal the next presidential election. And they're not making a secret of it. The right-wing controlled Supreme Court may be poised to rule on giving state legislatures, yes, you heard me that correctly, state legislatures the power to overturn presidential elections. Just think, if that happens, the 2024 presidential election could be decided not by the popular vote or even by the anachronistic electoral college, but by state legislatures, many of them Republican controlled. But there's also good news in the face of this very real threat to democracy. Indivisible has launched Crush the Coup to make sure we're ready to defend democracy in 2024. They've put together a list of critical races in 6 key states and how you can get involved. Will you support Crush the Coup by donating to Indivisible and state legislature candidates?
What a grift.
Each of these races is highly competitive, and your dollars could very well decide the winners and the winner of the next presidential election. This could not be more important or more urgent.
What a grift, huh? That's how you raise money. Scare people. Just be like, if you don't donate to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, we're literally like, the country's going to hell. There are forces that are planning an evil takeover. And if you just donate to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, just one coffee will make all the difference. We'll stop those evil Republicans from stealing the next election. Just one coffee. Everybody turns, everybody's a grifter. Politicians in particular. I mean, it's all, they're just 100% of the time have to grift. I watched the debate. I watched the Oz Fetterman debate. Oh, you can't make fun of, you definitely don't want to make fun of stroke victims. So I won't do that. And it was sad anyway. It was just a really sad performance. But what's really sad is that it's Dr. Oz, and you're like, oh, the alternative to this guy, you know, is completely. You can't. You just have to say, well, he can't do it. He might not be able to handle it. The alternative to that guy is Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz, that's who you get. And then in Georgia, you get Herschel Walker. So I didn't bet on the Georgia race, but I did bet on Dr. Oz, and the odds and his odds are soaring. So I'm in the money on my bets so far. I could cash out now with winnings based on people I bet on, including Dr. Oz, who is now the heavy favorite. So do you guys want to see that? I can play you like 3 clips, okay? But it is sad. The thing about it is he might be kind of stupid in the first place. He might be, but you can't tell for sure because of the whole stroke thing. But he might not have been a good candidate in the first place, in which case then it's cool to criticize him for coming across dumb, let's say. Like, let's say he didn't have a stroke and just seemed dumb. You're supposed to be able to make fun of people for that, I think. But there'll come a time. Like, you can't make fun of people for being dumb. Like George W. Bush. Let me show you some clips, and then you'll see. This is why I love betting on politics, because I knew this guy was a stroke victim. I'd seen the clips. I'd seen the supercut, and I was like, whoa, you're telling me this guy is favored to win? He was winning in the polls and everything. I thought, I don't know about that. And then he had that interview where he had to have the teleprompter, and I was like, I'm going to say we're going to bet against him. Then it works out. That's all you have to do, is just say, I don't think a stroke victim is going to win. Here are some clips. I'll play some.
Turning now to foreign policy, Mr. Fetterman, what do you believe is the greatest foreign threat to the United States of America? You have 60 seconds.
I believe, is right now is China. I believe China is not our friend. And I believe that we can't be able to push back, and we need to stand against China. And I believe that Dr. Oz has chosen to manufacture all of his merchandise on his name on it in China. Which one of us on this stage is going to stand up against and stand firm against China? And I believe that's our single biggest issue right now, to make sure that we address China and make sure that we know that it's not our friend.
Turning now to foreign policy.
All right, that was what Michael Tracy pointed out. That was one clip. That was just a dumb answer, is what Michael Tracy was saying, even though also he doesn't make any sense. He might, see, the thing is, he might be a big dumb oaf in reality, because he kind of gives you that kind of, what did I see him compared to? Hey, you guys, from the Goonies. I've seen him compared to, did he go by Chunk? No, Chunk was what they called the kid, right? He reminds you of that a little bit. And that's not because of the stroke thing. That's just because of how he is. He is kind of like a caveman type. Sloth. Thank you, McGruff. Appreciate it. All right, let me play you another clip. This is how his position on fracking changed.
create energy independence.
I must correct the record.
Just a second, Mr. Oz. I do want to clarify something. You're saying tonight that you support fracking, that you've always supported fracking, but there is that 2018 interview that you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all." So how do you square the two?
Oh, I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I do support fracking.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fetterman. On to
sorry,
the
Lisa, but there-
Sorry, I wasn't showing you the right video, but at least you heard the audio. Sorry, I wasn't showing you the right video. If you're listening to the podcast, it was perfect. I tell the people watching right now on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, I did nothing wrong, but I didn't have the right tab up to show the video. And I'll play one more response. Play one more response from Fetterman. People are saying it wasn't a great performance. And then some people are saying, oh, that's ableist. That to actually even sharing this clip is ableist, apparently. And I'm concerned because I made a joke about strokes. Strokes for folks. I don't want to be accused of hate speech because I don't hate people who have a stroke. I feel bad for people who have strokes. I feel bad for this guy. I feel bad also that I can't criticize him as if he was a normal person, because then I could be more critical of him. Now I have to be less critical because I have to be nice about the whole, what you used to call handicap, but now you call a disability, I believe. Disability.
And how can a man, with 10 gigantic mansions, has unwilling to talk about a willing wage for anybody? Imagine a single mom with 2 children, trying to raise with them, realizing making $31,000 a year, $15 an hour. And how can a man, there you
go. Just didn't make sense. That's all. But you know what I think is weird is Joe Biden doesn't make sense all the time. Like, Joe Biden is not that much different from a stroke victim, really, when you think about it. And they totally give him a pass most of the time. Once in a while I saw a joke about Biden on Saturday Night Live. So, I mean, some people realize he's got the cognitive deficiencies and stuff, but he's not that much. It's not that much worse than John Fetterman. So I'm surprised that everybody's saying, oh, Fetterman's lost it. But Biden, they don't say that. They just still cover for him, which I think is kind of, I don't know. But even Joe Scarborough is calling him out, says he doesn't have John Fetterman's ability to communicate is seriously impaired. Pennsylvania voters will be talking about this obvious fact, even if many in the media do not. So I'll show you guys the odds right now for the betting odds for the election is that Republicans are way favored. Republicans now at 70 cents to win $1, 70 cents to 33 or 69 cents for Republicans to control the Senate. And then in the race in Pennsylvania, where Fetterman still is ahead in the polls, right now it's 66 cents for Oz. So Oz is super favored. And I just made a bet on the Arizona Senate race, on the Republican in that race. So I picked all Republicans this time, because I think that's the way things are going. I've made money betting on Democrats before, but this time I'm betting on Republicans in close races too. So in Pennsylvania, which was going to be close at least, and then now in Arizona. And then in Georgia, Herschel Walker's got another person who said he got her an abortion. So he's a mess, Herschel Walker in Georgia. That might be the closest raise. But I'm looking good so far. My bets are up. So we'll see if I come out of it 4 for 4. I have Carrie Lake, who's almost a lock. Dr. Oz, now Masters in Arizona, and Democrat and Republicans to take the House, which is just guaranteed, basically. So you can bet on politics at predictit.org. And after this election cycle, I'll start selling my picks because I'm so good at it so far. Feel like it's maybe one of the easiest things you can do. The only thing is you can't wager that much money because the market is pretty thin. So you can't put thousands. It's hard to put like thousands of dollars down, but you can just make a little bit for fun. To predicting the future is the coolest thing you can do, especially if you can make money doing it. Speaking of evil plans, this is just a World Economic Forum feel-good video. It's a awareness and feel-good video about WEF. So I'll play that.
History is truly at a turning point.
It's the beginning of a global mobilization effort to rally all forces behind this great reset initiative.
Energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected. We will destroy, unfortunately, a lot of employment. The future is already here. It's coming like a tsunami. Just think of sensors planted into our brains. The opportunities are immense, and we have to prepare ourselves already now.
The most important thing to know about the future is that humans will soon be hackable animals.
Elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design.
Freedom is the right to say no.
I told you. I told you it was a feel-good video. The video for the podcast, they showed scenes of people holding signs against mandates and so forth, and flags, lots of flags. Yeah, a lot of the people who protest against tyranny, which is ironic, right? It is ironic that people protesting against tyranny bring their flag when usually the tyranny is the government. That's what's ironic about it. It's like, oh, I'm against tyranny. Here's my American flag. But forget about the tyrannical government that's usually in control. People are spreading, I don't know. People spread things on Twitter. Elon Musk showed up at Twitter headquarters today carrying a sink. I don't know. It was this weird joke. He said, let that sink in. I don't know. So he is showing up at Twitter. People are claiming that the algorithms on Twitter are being messed with to give you Democrat stuff right now. And I can say I did get a tweet that was pro-Democrat, which was ridiculous. But let me show you. Here's Elon Musk showing up at Twitter with a sink. I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to say he's going to throw the kitchen sink at things. I'm not sure what is. He said, let that sink in. And can't help but let that sink in. That's his joke. You can't help but let that sink in because he's carrying a sink, like a bathroom sink. And he said, you cannot help but let that sink in. And he said, meeting a lot of cool people at Twitter today. So how exciting. People are complaining on Twitter about being shadow banned, like Dave Rubin. And Dave Rubin is Jewish. So if he's complaining about being shadow banned, then people should definitely pay attention to that more than a regular person, right? Or should I not? I can't say anything. I should get into trying to make jokes. Dave Rubin is shadow banned on Twitter, and he's talking about it. He thinks he's shadow banned on Twitter, but he is one of the most famous people on Twitter. But he's saying he's being shadow banned, and people are saying that about the election time. I don't know. I don't want to be offensive. This says, this is the tweet that showed up for me today, which has 230,000 likes. This is what the algorithm is promoting in Twitter today. Last night, my girlfriend's dad asked me who I was voting for in the midterms, and I told him I will be voting for the party who is not trying to overthrow the government and does not have the full support of the Nazis. And the entire room got quiet and looked at me. So I said it again. That has 230,000 likes. He said they're trying to overthrow the government. See, that's what I'm curious about is when you say overthrow the government, do you mean win elections or something different? Because they are going to kind of overthrow the government by winning the elections, which I think is democratic, they say. And a lot of people are voting, even though they say there's voter suppression. So I think there's democracy happening. A lot of people have been convinced that voting works for them. That's kind of democratic. So anyway, that's what Twitter is serving up. And some people are saying that people are being shadow banned in anticipation of the midterms is the theory, basically. Let's see. Should I talk about trans things? Should I talk about fact-checking things? Let me see. And then maybe I'll take phone calls. We'll see. Here's Joe Biden said about hidden fees on airplanes that has some kind that's racist. Like hidden fees on airplanes are racist. So let me play that clip for you.
Decision. Some airlines, if you want 6 more inches between you and the seat in front, you pay more money. But you don't know it until you purchase your ticket. Look, folks, these are junk fees. They're unfair and they hit marginalized Americans the hardest, especially low-income folks and people of color. They benefit big corporations, not consumers. Decision.
People of color.
Some
people of color because you have to pay for seats, because you have to pay upgrades. That's racist. So that's cool. Maybe no more fees for upgrades would be good. I gave the news yesterday. I have some other stuff I could talk about on Rockfin, but I don't even know if I'm going to cover it today. Oh, I do have economic news.
I'm going to go back. I want to give people a little.
I have economic news. Okay, check this out. And thanks for tuning in. If you want to support the show, you know where to do it. BuyMeACoffee.com/lifttheveil. I'll check that in a minute. Bitcoin, you might have noticed that Bitcoin and Ethereum have gone up a lot. The dollar is going down. The Fed might have done something secretly that we don't know about yet to intervene in the strength of the dollar, and gold and cryptocurrency and stuff is reacting well to that. So I'm going to play you a clip from a guy that's famous who's saying the same thing that I've been saying a lot about what's going to happen to the economy. So, which is that the Fed will basically start printing money again. They might have already done that. So let me play a clip from this finance guy, because I listen to a lot of stuff about finance, just so you know what's going on and why you want to have maybe gold, as he says, gold, but Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of like gold in some ways that are important. And so it might not be a bad idea if the Fed is going to blink to do that. So here's this guy talking about it, just so you don't have to hear it from me all the time. See if you can listen to this.
Inflation, and that the weakening of the currency that increases the real value in local currency of their own debt. So for them, it is a perfect storm. Some of them have a lot of reserves. Some of them don't have reserves. Some of them have received IMF money. But there is right now a strengthening of the dollar that is implying even further tightening of financial conditions in the rest of the world. Now, I think that eventually the dollar is going to have to fall very sharply because we have a twin fiscal and current account deficits. In other advanced economies, you have a fiscal deficit, but you have a current account surplus. And now we're essentially using the dollar as a tool of national security and foreign policy. We're weaponizing it, rightly so. Sanctions against Russia, against Iran, North Korea, China. We're starting, by the way, a tech war with China, economic war.
What will be the
sanctions
catalyst for dollar weakness? How do we get there? Forget about this Plaza Accord. Peter Gopinath laughed at me.
Is going to be essentially the Fed wimping out. Once you see a severe recession.
What does wimping out mean? That means blinking, right?
Yeah, blinking. They're going to blink and wimp out because you'll have a severe recession.
Wimp out. That's a new economic term. It's a mega threat to wimp out.
Well, either you're a hawk or you're a wimp, and so, or a dove in this case. But that's going to happen. And once the Fed is going to essentially prevent an economic and financial crisis, or try to prevent it by essentially stop raising rates, even inflation is too high, then the dollar is going to start sharply weaken. That's going to be the trigger for it. Because what's raising the dollar is, of course, the tight monetary policy.
A viewer wrote in and wants to know what you're doing with your money.
There you go. And he said you could buy gold, but I say probably Bitcoin, silver, those kinds of things are going to be good, because if they're going to start printing, if they're going to weaken the dollar, which they might kind of have to do, then that's what's going to go down. So let me check my buy me. You can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Let me check to see if anybody dropped any support today. And I'll check on Rockfin too. Thanks everybody who supports the show. Thanks everybody who's tuned in. Thanks Vogan Filter for the tip over on Rockfin. And thanks Free Assange for the tip, who says telling the truth isn't a crime. It is kind of, sort of. I mean, they don't let you say certain things. Okay, let me check my buy me a coffee. Down at Vices, got a coffee and said, thanks for your hard work putting together a show. Real truther out there. I miss talking about Vegas. Yeah, that's one thing we got censored for sure, was talking about Las Vegas. So I still have a little time. I didn't get any tips really, but I'll still open up the phone because I'm a little early. I want to make sure you guys get all your entertainment. I'll open up the phone to see if anybody wants to call in. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, I had some stuff. I had some other material that I just can't talk about on YouTube. So anyway, I'll stay on YouTube. I'll open up the phone. You can call in at 650-429-8294. If you want to support the show, go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Seriously. Or go to our store, truthclothing.io. Pick up some t-shirts. Truthclothing.io is our store. And the show has been coming to you, and the show is now back on YouTube for now. And we're trying to stay within the rules. I'll check to see what people are saying. But, oh, thanks, Tapio. for the super chat over on YouTube. I appreciate it. That's in pounds. Cool. Thanks, Tapio. Ray Finkel says, what about silver? Yeah, definitely. Silver is good. Silver bullion is good. It will be for sure when they start printing money again. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Jim
Hey.
from Baltimore. How you doing?
Hey, Jim, what's going on, man?
Not much. I got you $25 of coffees last week, I think.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm sorry people didn't tip tonight. I wish I could. I'm got like $10 in my bank account.
Yeah, we don't.
And I
That's
got
all right. You're a big time supporter for the show, so it's no big deal. Thanks.
Cheers, bro.
Thanks for calling in. Did you know I
Yeah,
was? I was kicked off YouTube because I didn't hear from you while I
I
was
had
off.
no clue, man. I checked my Gmail and I do see that you have podcasts, but I thought that was completely separate from everything else, and I can't listen to them on my PlayStation. And I don't really like bringing up my laptop that much because it's a pain in the butt. So
Well, if I ever disappear again from YouTube, I'm over on DLive and on Rockfin. So
yeah, see, I didn't even think to check it. Well, I think one night I checked DLive and I don't think you were there. Maybe there was a night you were off or something.
Don't know. Well, anyway, I've been working. So
Yeah. Oh, you got a new job?
no. I mean, I've been working doing my show. Is what I mean.
Oh yeah, man. That's work, dude.
Yep.
That can't be denied as work. That's totally work. Like trying to put it all together and then speak to a bunch of strangers and
Yes. Talk to people on the internet. Yep. Somebody's
But
got
it
to do
can't be as bad as cold calls, right?
No, it's not as bad. It's better.
No way.
But cold calling pays a little better. So
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say prostitution.
I know.
I don't know what the good metaphor would be for that, or analogy,
well,
or whatever.
everything is kind of. So
Yeah, I guess everything is everything.
everything
Every
is
day
everything.
is every day.
And every day is every day.
Yeah, I mean, like it's getting more and more like that, man. I got the purple lights outside my house, like it's everywhere. Why is this? I mean, that's been going on for years now. So how come they haven't fixed that problem?
What problem?
Like all these lights are fucking black lights. Excuse my language. Black lights or blue lights. Like it's really strange because if you can figure out how to look it up, it's all over the country. And on my street, I'm like thinking about that. And one evening, I'm looking out and I see these purple lights, and I'm like, why did they need to replace these? There was nothing wrong with the street lights. In fact, they're darker now. It's like something from Halloween.
Interesting.
I'm like, this isn't meant for Halloween, because I did hear that other states had gotten the same problem. And like they chalked it down to they got the wrong light bulbs. But yeah, everybody got the wrong light bulbs and kept installing them when they knew they got the wrong light bulbs. I'm not buying it. There's something up with this.
Interesting. I see somebody in the chat confirming what you're saying, that they're seeing black lights around. I'll have to look into that.
It's strange, dude. At first, like my street I live on is basically, most of it's Section 8 and like a bunch of really poor people. I'm kind of poor, but these people are really, really poor and they live here. And I wonder if the black lights are a signal for whoever to take out this fucking street. I was joking, like thinking to myself, that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
But yeah, man, look out for the black lights. So you're not getting them in Cali. Then,
Well,
right?
not where we're at, but that doesn't mean they're not around. I haven't seen any yet, but I'll be on the lookout for them.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, more people call in.
All right. Thanks.
All right, see you, man.
All right, see you, Jim. It's Jim from Baltimore. All right, I'll open up the phone. Somebody else can call in if they want. I haven't done a full hour yet, but been doing the show every day. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, nigger.
That person called in, but that's a prank call that happens during the show, which is wrong. So it's wrong that he called, and right. I don't think. No, I think it's okay because people do say that word sometimes, but I won't take any more calls. That's fine. I won't take any more calls. All right. Well, that's that. We have that caller back, which is great. But yeah, I don't want to take calls on YouTube if it's going to screw things up. So that's it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Good to see you. I heard somebody else gave me a coffee. I think it was Brian M. Thanks for the coffee. Thanks, Brian M, for the coffee. All right. And we'll see you guys at the next one. The show's at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, here at youtube.com/lifttheveil live, rockfin.com/lifttheveil. Follow me on Twitter at lifttheveil411. And someone else was going to call in. Alexander Porter, you were about to call in. I don't want to shut down. Here, I can open it up again. I don't know how to identify those numbers, and I don't want to get censored, that's for sure. I've had that guy call in before when I was on YouTube, and I didn't get censored for it, so I think it's okay. It would really be unfortunate if they censored it for that reason. And anyway, I have no idea. I don't know what the censorship regime is. But I have the phone open again in case anybody else wants to call in. I didn't want to cut it off early. 650-429-8294. I might have lost people, but somebody said they might call in. No, I can't do a 7-second delay because people just call in, it just calls in, it rings. If I was on a delay, I don't know how to institute a delay. All right, that's it. Nobody's calling. All right, that's it. Nobody's calling. I tried. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Good to see you, and we'll see you at the next one. All right. So for now, that is what it is.